All right, the new comic is Brook and Brax versus Pandemic. And you can find it on my website. It's free to everybody. And basically, what it is, it takes our heroes from book one, Brook and Brax Undercover Ninjas, and it takes them into a pandemic COVID-19 mode. And so the reason why we decided to do that was to be current with today's everything that's going on today. I mean, things are just so crazy right now, and we were able to react to these times through our characters because kids can really relate to that. And so we brought them through a quarantine period and them getting out of school and them dealing how to, trying to figure out how to deal with it. So it's definitely available to you all. It's free, and go check it out. It's fun. The inspiration is the kids. It's always been the kids. And I have a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old. And so everything that other kids are going through and other parents are going through across the globe, in fact, I'm going through it too. So, and I've seen it. We had to take our kids out of school, and they thought it was going to be temporary, a couple weeks, and then it turned into 4 weeks, and then it turned into months, and then the living room became a classroom, and homeschooling started. So everything that that I've seen, I kind of put into the comic and made it very relatable for the kids. I think the learning lessons are absolutely the same. You brought up the fact of them trying to figure out and how to interact with each other during social distancing and social learning, and it's hard. I think we all took things for granted, when things were normal, so to speak. And so now you get to a period where they don't have physical contact with each other. And it just brings a whole nother dynamic, a whole nother level to how you interact with your friends, how you interact with the teachers, and even with your parents. Well, I mean, the unique thing about us, Rob, is that, we're able to take our characters from the original book, and obviously not knowing that COVID-19 was going to hit, and to be able to take away from what we were doing. Because in fact, I was actually working on an animation with my animator. His name is Jeremy Wooten. He was actually the illustrator for Brook and Brax versus Pandemic. And I thought we did a very good job of just switching gears. I mean, COVID-19 hit in March, and by the time April came, it's like, all right, well, do I continue with the animation, or do we switch gears and get in line with what's going on in the world? And based off of the first book, we were able to do that with our characters. And like I said, the kids are just so relatable. Brook and Brax are 12-year-old kids. They're ethnic kids. They're diverse. Brook, that's this guy right here. His parents are Black and Chinese. And Brax, this guy right here, his parents are white and Mexican. And then we have other ethnic characters in the book, Japanese characters, white, Black. I mean, we've got the whole spectrum. And the whole point of that is just to bring all the kids together. Everything that we do here at Ecstatic Books is all inclusive for everybody. So everybody's welcome. If you have good energy, if you want to do good things, you want to do great things, then you can come on our side. I think the most vital lesson is, first you have to identify a bully, right? You have to know that you're being bullied first, right? So once you identify that, then you know, or you have an understanding of how to get around it and how to deal with it. So within this comic, because Pandemic, right, that's our COVID-19 spin-off character villain, he's just terrorizing the world. And then he ends up making it to their city. And because they're actually black belts by themselves, they were able to react to it. I think they can teach many valuable lessons. One of them being to have unity. Like I said, we're all inclusive, and because they're heroes and they're diverse in themselves, they don't really look at race or concentrate on race. You see what's going on out here in this world right now. It's crazy. But through these characters, we concentrate on good and bad, right and wrong. Those are the lines. Those are the lines that we go by. And so I think with our characters, they definitely include all kids and they protect other kids. I think they realize that they have unique abilities through their intense training through 5 years. And they actually become black belts in the book through their hardcore sensei, which is Sensei Iron Post, and he's super hardcore. And so, but then they make it fun, and that's the other things we want to enforce for our kids too. Is, hey, we want you to work hard. We want to challenge our kids. Let's not be easy on our kids. Let's make them better, right? We always want our kids to be better than us, and so that's one thing that we promote. And so they fight for that, and they use their unique talents to go ahead and help others and fight for what's right. Well, I think post-COVID, we are definitely in line to be better. I think we were good going into COVID, before COVID. Now, during COVID, we have some challenging times. And guess what? We're going to step up to the plate, and, we're not going to shy away from a challenge, and we're going to get through it, and we're going to win, And so once we get to the other side of it, we're just going to keep the train moving on the tracks. And, when it comes to social emotional learning, I mean, we try to really focus on, the 5 aspects of it, which is, I actually wrote a note here so I wouldn't forget. So excuse me. So you got self-awareness, social awareness, responsible decision-making, self-management, and relationship skills. And that's something that you find within the comic, and you find it within our book and everything else that we do, because we're really trying to keep things really motivational for the kids, and everything's clean over here at Ecstatic Books, so no parents have to worry about that. I have kids myself, so I would never promote anything that I wouldn't want my own kids to see. The biggest challenge that I faced was COVID-19. Because it wasn't, what we did was not difficult. It's time consuming, but it's doing that while everything else is going on. That was the toughest thing, because I thought about that and I'm like, what was the toughest thing? Well, it took time, that's for sure, and effort, and a lot of going back and forth between myself and the illustrator, Jeremy Wooten. But it was doing all that while you're trying to find toilet paper, and paper towels and water and whatever else, and dealing with your kids at home and all those things. So I think the time itself was more challenging than the project. But I think once you tie all that together, it all makes sense, and it all brings it together. I am working on book 2, which is Brook and Brax. It's not going to be Undercover Ninjas 2. I'm coming up with a different subtitle, but I'm going to take it to another level. I think, when I look back on the first book, I think that I took it a little bit easy on the kids as far as, some of the words in there. But I'm definitely going to challenge them, so they better get their dictionary ready for book 2. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Now, I got a hard, people were pushing me about the female characters, and it was always my intention to include the girls, because we could, we're all inclusive, right? But so for the first book, I really wanted to concentrate on the main characters and their origins. And I knew that there would be some fight scenes in the first book. And honestly, I didn't want them to fight any girls. I didn't want to promote that. But at the same time, we have to get the girls involved. So I introduced a very powerful female character who happens to be the daughter of the sensei that teaches Brook and Brax. And she's actually more powerful than they are, but they don't know it yet until book 2. So you can definitely look for, her name is Akari. She's going to be a very, very powerful figure in that book. I've got some other things that came out here for Anti-Bullying Month, because it's October, featuring Akari and some of those things. So you'll definitely see some things. Also, we're going to do something for breast cancer awareness this month as well, and that's going to feature Akari also. So yeah, we're definitely going to take care of the girls, so stay tuned. You can go to my website. It's ecstaticbooks.com, xtaticbooks.com. I've got everything there. We also have a music video that we did last year. It's my nephew. His name is Jaden. and his rap name is Young Pack. He's a freshman in college. He's doing really, really good things. He did a nice, clean song for us. We got some video shots at my kid's dojo, which is BBFC in Orlando, and we kind of tied all that together. So you can find that there as well. We've got a merch store that I should have up and running within the week with shirts like this. We got the BK and BX on the back. We call it the BK and BX gear. So definitely stay tuned, and the merch is fire.